The learning outcome for this module is to understand how to successfully guide others to understand issues, identify problems, and then take action to solve those problems. Let's get started.
Coaching others for success is to help others understand how to be successful by getting them to take action through a guided process to solve the problems and the issues that they have in their lives right now. The first step in this process is to make sure that you're offering coaching appropriately. Coaching at its core means understanding someone's perspective and then helping them to be successful. Coaching doesn't just happen between managers and employees. Anyone can be a coach and anyone can be coached. So if you sense that someone close to you in your team or in your organization could use support or could use a coaching mechanism, don't approach them by saying, "Hey, do you want me to coach you?" This usually leads to defensiveness and it can be a little awkward. Instead, try to bring up a specific situation that you've recently seen and offer your help. Like an example would be, "Hey, the other day I saw you were having trouble prioritizing your tasks. Would it be useful for me to help you talk through that? Would it be useful for me to sort of help you get that moving forward?" And then if the person agrees, determine how they'd like you to assist them by asking, "What's the best way for me to assist you? Would you like me to give you a weekly phone call? Would you like for me to meet with you on a weekly basis or some other mechanism that's regular and scheduled?" Next, make sure that you clarify the issue that you're coaching about. Start by guiding the person to clarify their current situation. And you want to ask some questions like, "What makes this particular issue a problem right now?" Or, "Tell me a little bit about the situation and the key players around it." Or, "What about this problem makes it so important to you?" The goal here is to help the person better understand their situation, identify goals for what to change, and then the reasons behind changing that situation, why that's so important. A key success factor for being a good coach is the ability to ask open-ended questions that foster insight in the person that you're coaching. For example, instead of asking, "Do you think this problem is important?" it would be better to ask, "Can you tell me more about why this problem is important to you?" The second, the more open-ended question that you ask allows them to really chew on it and elaborate it for themselves. Also, there's a really fine line, and maybe it's not so fine, about giving advice while you're coaching. Not only does it sometimes come off as arrogant and really put you sort of in the management, director position, it comes off as arrogant and takes the ownership of the problem away from the other person. And you want, in a coaching situation, you want to make sure that the other person is really owning the actions that they're taking. The next step is to increase their self-awareness. Often we believe our problems are external to us and fail to realize the elements that are under our control. Some questions that you want to ask about the issues and problems the person you're coaching has is, "What do you own about this problem?" Or, "What do others seem to want from you in this situation?" Specifically, what are the things within your control and out of your control in solving this problem or controlling this issue or dealing with this issue? And what are you doing to contribute to the problem? These questions might make people, the person you're coaching, a little uncomfortable, but it's critical to understand that our problems don't exist outside of us entirely, and that we oftentimes have extraordinary amounts of control over the situations that we're in. Next, as a coach, you want to help support action. You want to aim to help the person they're coaching identify areas where they can set goals and then take action to achieve those goals. Some of the questions you can ask for them here are, for this issue, what are your options? And what's the first step you could take to reach one of those goals, and how will you take it? Or what are some of the things that you're going to need to do on an ongoing basis to make sure that this situation, this problem clears up? And make sure that you're helping the person to get to the heart of the issue. If they start to lose focus, draw them back in and ask them things like, "So tell me what this is really about. And or what's really bugging you here? You're talking about this subject over here, but it sounds like, what it sounds like that's not the problem. What's really bugging you? A next step is to make sure that you listen more than you talk. As a coach, you should aim to ask questions 10% of the time and listen 90% of the time. Make sure again that you're asking open-ended questions so that the person you're coaching is really doing the talking and is really unpacking the situation and discovering for themselves the actions that they're going to take to solve their situation. Try to talk as little as possible and focus on the discussion on the other person, not on you. Let the other person speak on their own. Don't finish their sentences for them. Don't interrupt them, or say things like, "I know that." One of the most critical tools as a coach is silence. Allowing people to sit in silence and allowing them to come out of their shell within that silence is a beautiful way to help them to unpack their problems that they're having. And make sure you're frequently checking in with them to make sure you're checking your understanding and that you're getting what they're saying correctly. You can restate and summarize what they're saying by saying things like, "So what I hear you saying is," or "It sounds like I'm hearing," or "Let me see if I understand." Finally, make sure you're asking probing questions to help the other person think through their issue in more depth. For example, what makes this more important? This issue important to you? Or, hey, you're telling me about this issue, but how do you know that X, Y, or Z is happening? And tell me what's it like for you when you're going to see success, or tell me what it's like for you when you feel this situation coming on, or what's it like for you when you see this problem happening. Above all, make sure that as a coach to someone you're seeking to support, that again, you're spending most of your time listening and helping them unpack their problem so that you can then guide them towards the actions that they need to take to solve the problem on their own.
We hope you found this Coaching for Success module useful. Remember, there's a complete transcript of this video just below, and there are downloadable takeaways as well that you can use offline. Also, please take a moment to leave us a comment about how you're coaching others for success better, or leave us a comment about how we can make this section better. Thanks.